just get on with it, shall we? This is a subject very close to my heart. Residents are being told that being on private property is no bar to prosecution under new legislation. This is being brought in by the SNP, which took effect across Scotland last month, establishing 200-metre safe access zones around all abortion clinics. Now, residents in these zones have been warned that they could be in breach of the Abortion Services Act if they do anything that would cause harassment, alarm or distress to staff and patients, even if this activity is carried out in the privacy of their own home. Pro-life campaigners fear that praying in these zones will be considered an offence following the arrests of several activists for harassment and public order-related offences in England and Northern Ireland. Well, let's dig into this with Michael Phillips, who's a Christian Legal Centre lawyer. Michael, great surname, can I just say, and great religion as well. I'm one of your lot. But let's talk about this, because one would say, well, you know, surely it's a bit of a stretch to say that, you know, if there's a 200-metre safe zone and it happens to be that there's a residential property in this and someone is quietly praying at home, that they're going to have their collar felt by the police. That seems to be, to me, to be a far-flung fear. Yet the idea here for me that I find troubling is the fact that, once again, there's one religion in this country which the state wants to control. There's one religion in this country that the state is happy to kick in the groin. There's one religion in this country that has absolutely zero protections, seems to be regularly under fire, and it is our national religion which underpins our democracy and our cultural mores.
I totally agree, and I've been on to the SNP, the government, Scottish Government website this morning, and I thought that maybe this is a little bit of hyperbole from the press, but it just really isn't. I'm reading from the document itself, and it says that if someone does something in a private place, such as a private residence within the boundary of a safe access zone, that could be seen or heard in a public space, that are part of the zone, an offence could be committed. And that could include, if you do it recklessly, that means you don't necessarily intend to do it, and it influences somebody's decision. And the problem is this, is that we know this isn't just some type of horror story that somebody's made up. It's been happening in England, and I've represented a couple of people, and there are other people who I haven't represented, but nonetheless they're being prosecuted, one of which is Adam Smith-Connor, a veteran of the war in Afghanistan, on trial in Poole at the moment for the crime of silently praying for his dead son outside an abortion clinic in Bournemouth. Likewise, Isabel Vaughan-Bruce, who we're assisting, she too has been arrested on a number of occasions for simply that, praying silently. It's unbelievable, it's Orwellian, but unfortunately it is starting to happen.
I mean, this troubles me enormously. So could somebody in this catchment area, if they are a practicing Christian and want to have, say, a cross on their wall or something like that, or during Easter time put up, you know, Christian decorations, and it happens to be within this safe access zone, do you think they could be prosecuted for simply that? If someone going to a clinic walks past the house and says it's made me feel uncomfortable because there was Christian stuff all over it.
Yeah, I think that there is a real fear that that could happen. So that if you have a sign on your wall, maybe about life, maybe about Psalm 149, which talks about the fact that David talks about the fact that he was knit together in his mother's womb. And if you had that in large letters outside your house, then potentially somebody goes past, they see it, they feel distressed, they feel as though they're being influenced. Then in those circumstances, they report you to the police, and then you could face criminal prosecution and a criminal record. And a fine of up to £10,000 if you were to be convicted of that offence. It's horrifying.
Now, I would say that as someone who's a Christian herself, Christians, by and large, get on with being Christians quietly. You wouldn't know most Christians on the street. We don't tend to put on, you know, specific type of dress or, you know, it's a discreet religion. It is quite a private religion, by and large. And yet you are at the Christian Legal Centre. How often are Christians sort of getting into trouble with the law simply for being Christians, and what sort of things for?
Well, the Christian Legal Centre didn't exist 15 years ago because there was no real need for it, and now it's a staff of about 10 or so people that are working full-time on these kinds of cases. So they represent street preachers who get themselves arrested because they're just offending people, and by and large have always been acquitted. Sometimes it's Christians who are in the workplace who are dealing with issues of trans, whereby at the moment there's the Darlington nurses and they have been told that they can't change in the changing room because there's somebody in there who identifies as a woman but is a biological male, and they're having problems and they've been moved out to a different workplace. And so these various ideas, ideologies, other religions have come into the United Kingdom, and Christians want to exist peaceably alongside these people. But increasingly, they're being told that not only do you have to just live alongside other people, which they can agree with, but they're told that you have to endorse certain things, wear certain lanyards, say certain things, have certain pronouns. And then at that point, a lot of Christians say, well, I really can't do that. I don't agree that a trans woman is a woman.
Do you think, for instance, if someone was from a different religious faith, say they were, well, any of the others, let's say, and they said, look, I don't want to wear the rainbow lanyard because it goes against my religious faith, that they would be left alone, but the Christian wouldn't be?
It seems as though other religions get associated with a race, and people are very uncomfortable with the idea that they could be labeled a racist. But if you are anti-Christian, nobody ever suggests that you're racist. And so that's one of the things that kind of maybe keeps other religions safe. Look, we're not advocating for discrimination against any religion, but unfortunately,
we're advocating against not discriminating against Christianity, it seems to me.